Hello everyone, time for another Wardy's Waffle and the Farm update. I haven't got any questions to answer from the last videos, but if you remember, I said on Thursday's update that I was going to give you a bit of detail and put a bit of meat on the bone about some of the government figures and trying to counter some of the things the government are doing. So I'm going to do that now. One of the most common things we get told is pay your taxes on social media, and even I've had comments on here. Well, what a lot of people don't realise when they say that is that the price we're selling our goods at today is probably the same as it was 20 years ago. Well, how many people are working for the same as they were 20 years ago? And I think if we were to go to Dragon's Den and pitch to them about how we produce food, would they support us? Namely, when we plant a crop in the ground, we don't know how much it's going to cost. We don't know how many we're going to produce at harvest time, and we don't know what we're going to sell it for. If you went into Dragon's Den with those three scenarios, I think they would send you straight back in the lift. And this is just the exact problem we've got with farming and food production. And it's like it all over the world, because when I was in South Africa, I was talking to some farmers there, and it's just the same. It's exactly the same. And when everybody says as well, a lot of people saying, oh, pay your tax like everybody else. Well, everybody else isn't quite right, because there's only just under 4% of the population pay inheritance tax. So just a little bit of an explanation there about that when we get told pay your taxes. Also, it's just come out this week from the government when Starmer said the other day, after he got stopped at Milton Keynes and blocked in with some farmers, he said that what do we want? Do we want an NHS that's going to prosper and going to be better than it is? Or are we going to give a tax break for farmers? We can't give both. Well, this week, he's actually now given a 40% tax break for the film industry and for companies making films, which is just ludicrous. You don't keep alive by making films. So to give 40% tax deduction to those is just unbelievable. So as a result of all this, March the 4th, we have got a pancake, that's Pancake Day. We've got what we're calling a sort of a pancake rally. And what we're doing is we're looking at how much does it cost and machinery to put a 40p pancake. That's what they cost in the supermarket roughly. And you need around about £4 to £5 million worth of equipment and infrastructure to put a 40p pancake on a plate. And that's looking at a forage harvester, a combine, also sugar beet harvester. You've got probably £2 million there in those three machines. Then you've got a milking parlour, you've got drills, you've got fertiliser spreaders, you've got sprayers, you've got cultivation equipment, a whole load of things, grain stores as well to feed the animals. So you've got a lot of equipment needed. So that's what we're going to highlight on March the 4th in London. So I'll give a bit more details on that. I'll do a YouTube shorts on that next day or so and put that up. So keep your eye on that for the details of that. Also, someone actually just sent me, looking at the price of wheat I've just mentioned and going back a long while, and land prices, someone actually sent this to me, and they said that what thing that they actually had told them quite a few times was if farmers managed to pay inheritance tax up to 1983, why can't they do it now? And this chap replied, well, that we were making more money in 1983. So he looked up some figures, and wheat was £124 per tonne. The average land price was £1,470 per acre. Diesel was around 7 pence per litre. In 2024, wheat is about £180 per tonne. Average land price £8,200 per acre. Diesel is over 70p a litre. So in 1983, it would take 12 tonnes of wheat to buy 1 acre of land. In 2024, it would take 46 tonnes of wheat to buy an acre of land. And so this is exactly the reason why we are kicking off and why we simply cannot afford to pay this inheritance tax, and especially if we're going to have to buy 20% of our own land back off the government. So that's that little point worth highlighting. Also, I've got down here, DEFRA plans to axe 10% of farmland for net zero. Now, this came out a bit ago, and this is the screenshot from that. And just one or two things to highlight from that. They said that they want to take 10% of farmland is to be diverted to net zero to protect wildlife by 2050. Well, the government won't be there by 2050. Hopefully after the next 4 years, if we can't get them out before that, they won't be there after 4 years. But it's just got here, swathes of the countryside are on course to be switched to solar farms, which we know about that all over the country, tree planting. And there's a stat here about tree planting, if I can find it. Here we go. The government has ambitious targets to increase woodland in England by 20%. Or around 265,000 hectares by 2050, accounting for a third of the change in farm use. It has also set a target to build 1.5 million new homes, install hundreds of square miles of solar panels and onshore wind farms, wind turbines, and protect 30% of the land for nature. We're not going to have any land for producing food by the look of this, are we? What they're doing, it's just incredible. So 70% of England is farmland, and a 9% reduction would bring this down by 760,000 hectares of land would be taken out of producing food. It's absolutely scandalous. It's just scandalous. So looking at that, I've also, someone sent me a screenshot, if I can find it, here we go, about the houses. So if the government want to build 1.5 million houses, which they've said they do, at 12 houses per acre, they would need an extra 125,000 acres of land, and that will be 200 acre farms, which 200 an acre is apparently the average size of a farm in the country, and that's without roads or any other infrastructure. So you probably get more than 12 houses per acre, but I'm not sure whether you do, but that's what this chap said to me. So thanks, Richard, for that. If you watch these regularly, which I think you do, you'll know who you are. But just staggering amount of land that's been taken out of production of food for other things. We have also got the budgets. Now, this is interesting. The budgets that the government have got for other services. So to put farming's 2.5 billion budget in per year in perspective, the government for the health service are giving 181.7 billion, pensions 165 billion, universal credit 78 billion, government topping up civil servants' pensions, 7.9 billion, roads, 12.2 billion, railways, 26.8 billion, and don't forget their train drivers increase, and I think they're on strike as well again now. So there are many more than these as well. So it just shows that when you look at those figures about putting the agricultural budget in perspective. And lastly, talking about the government, I saw a quote that Maggie Thatcher said, which I think this is brilliant, and I'll read this out. "Let us never forget this fundamental truth. The state has no source of money other than the money people earn themselves. If the state wishes to spend more, it can do so only by borrowing your savings or by taxing you more. And it is no good thinking that someone else will pay. That someone else is you. There is no such thing as public money. There is only taxpayers' money. Prosperity won't come by inventing more and more lavish public expenditure programs. You don't grow richer by ordering another checkbook from the bank. No nation ever grew more prosperous by taxing its citizens beyond their capacity to pay." Brilliant last few words there, I think, and highlights exactly the problems we've got at the minute. Anyway, that's enough now on that side of things. I just wanted to touch on now ADM. We store oilseed rape, as you know, for ADM. We have been doing. I had a phone call with them this week, and because of what I said last week regarding the neonics and less oilseed rape crop grown around the country, ADM I don't think are going to be wanting our stores for storing oilseed rape. So if anybody's watching here and you work for any merchants and you want our stores, we've got about 3,000 tonnes spare capacity. If anybody wants that for storage for wheat or barley or any crops, please get in touch. Or if you want to store it for other things to do in agriculture, not crops, or non-agriculture related products or anything as well, we'll look at that as well. So please, we've got 2 big sheds possibly 3 sheds that's available for storage. If anybody is interested, please get in touch with me. This week, sugar beet meeting. I went to sugar beet meeting at Newark only a few days ago, and we've heard the factory closing dates. Newark factory closing date isn't until March the 17th, which is not really ideal, to be honest. The problem we've got is Newark is probably the least reliable factory at the moment. We've had quite a few problems with Newark, and it's the least reliable factory. And closing it the last, I don't think is really right. We need some of the other factories to take some of the load off Newark. So this is the closing dates of the other factories as well. But the Newark one is last of all, and I think we actually found out as well it might even be March the 20th instead of March the 17th. And the problem is all the risk is on us growers with the factory being so late as that. Also, we picked up that there's 2 herbicides that's probably up for review and might go, and that is one called Betanol and that's another one called Debut, and they're up for review now. Whether we're going to be able to use them or not, I'm not sure. But this is the problem we've got, is that we've got imported cane sugar coming into this country, grown with so many chemicals that we are not allowed to use, and it just makes it so difficult for us to produce, produce these crops. So that's just where the level of playing field isn't level. Obviously in neonics as well, we knew the neonicotinoid seed treatment hasn't been approved. I touched on that at depth in the last video, and just also to mention on that again where it's not really right, that you get these organisations saying that it's not right using these insecticides, you're damaging the environment. Well, your household moggy, your household cat and dog, they are treated. The fleas treatment, when you treat them for fleas, it is a neonicotinoid product that is used on your cats and dogs for fleas. So that is all out there. Everybody's using those, but of course farmers producing food are not allowed to do that. This week, few things going on this week. NFU conference is on Tuesday, so I'm going to that during the day. I was going to stay over night before and the night after, but at the Farmers Club, but I've decided to save my money. We're spending a lot, and we're going to London obviously on March the 4th, and we'll be there a few days then, so I need to save my money because we are all funding ourselves on this. We're not being we haven't got a pot for anybody. No one's funding us. We're funding it ourselves, and all travelling expenses. So I'm going to save my money to use it for the March the 4th one. So anybody, if I see you in London, we're going there in London, I say again this week. Spent a lot of time there lately, so great to see you and catch up. And we've got Steve Reed. One of the sessions is Steve Reed, the Secretary of State. So that's going to be very interesting, and I've put a question into him already. We submit questions beforehand, so it's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say. Anyway, in this update, we've got 2 main things going on, and one main thing, besides me taking nearly 15 minutes here for the introduction, is we're moving soil. Finally got that topsoil moved from down at the back of the farm here onto the new poultry farm that's just literally a few hundred yards up the A17 from here. So that's good. That's all going now. That farm's been stocked, so that's great. That's all soil leveled out and looking good. And also the rest of this update as well. When we were in South Africa a couple of weeks ago, some of you have probably mentioned as well, we went to see an ostrich farm. Fascinating look at ostriches. This farm had, I think, nearly 300 ostriches, and I didn't realise the speed these run and the power they are. And they've got a farm shop there as well, so we take a look at that, about an ostrich farm in South Africa. Anyway, that's it for me rambling on a long time with the intro here. Hope you found some of those stats and facts and figures interesting, and thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll see you at the end. Really, walk down?
Yeah, walk down.
Wow.
There is
No way to drive down.
no.
Wow.
There's the cars. See those people there? He's eating. The black is the male, and then
What a location.
It's that's Clyde and that's Bonnie.
Bonnie and Clyde there.
Bonnie and Clyde, yeah.
And I was saying that everywhere is so absolutely pristinely kept, it's immaculate. And it's because of potential predators.
That's right, yeah. We keep it tidy as well, so it's let's say the cleanest air in the world and the freshest place to be. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah, so we keep
It
them
looks-
immaculate.
You can just see that. All credit to you. It really is fantastic.
Our farm guys do a brilliant job.
You can see that. Yeah, yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
we can see when baboons come along as well. They will steal the ostrich
Oh,
eggs.
the eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can cause some damage to the.
And there are a lot in the wild. A lot of baboons.
Yeah, well, along the plateau road
Yeah.
here, you get the troop there and the Soetswinkel Bay
Yeah.
troop.
Yeah.
See, every day something good. This is lavender.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I've got lavender. I love lavender. One of my favourites. And there's a mist.
Ostrich eggs, ostrich liver.
Yeah. Look at this.
Isn't it? Oh my goodness.
God,
These are the carved eggs. They're all light up. Oh, they're beautiful. These ones with the openings can be used for your candles. To allow the heat and the fumes out.
Yeah, that'd be
Yes.
beautiful. Oh, I love that.
The big 5, 800 rand, for the big eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe that is a
real
ostrich egg. When you look at it and the holes in it, and that is it before you've done anything. No, you've got a air hole in it. You
Yeah,
say.
because we've got to empty it of its contents
Yes.
and eat it.
Right.
A scrambled egg and omelette.
Yeah, you'll feed a few people that will.
It does.
Yeah.
It's true. And then the shells fall inside the egg
Yeah.
against the thick membrane. I need to get rid of that. So you'll have it up against your body, hooking out those shells, rotating the egg.
Right.
Get a big glass bowl ready.
Yeah.
Take your finger and pop the thick membrane and shake it out for omelette or scrambled egg.
And that's how you empty it.
Yes, and then you wash it out
Yeah.
and drain it because all eggs are porous like our skin.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's,
And then
ve-
it's left like that.
incredible. Yeah. Quite thick.
It is. You can stand on a full ostrich egg, but never one like that.
No.
It'll pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll take a weight of about 150 kilos.
Will it really?
Standing this way, and an elephant can balance on the egg this way, and it'll take 2 tons.
No, that is incredible.
I know.
2
So
tons.
dinosaurish.
Yes. Yeah. And here's all.
Yeah. These are the plain eggs that people will paint on.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
carve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your bags.
Are
That's,
all made from the ostrich leather.
yeah.
Second strongest in the world.
Is it?
Number 1 is your kangaroo with 16 layers.
Yeah.
They make those motorbike racing suits from that.
Oh, that's from kangaroo leather.
Yes.
Right.
Because it's so tough.
Yeah.
And if you fall off your motorbike, you can keep your layers
Yes.
on. And then ostrich is second strongest in the world.
I didn't know that. Wow.
14 layers thick.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God.
Interesting.
Rhonda?
This is where the bumps, the feathers, you can feel that,
Oh yeah.
come out on the leather. And then the ostrich leg.
That's a
Ostrich leg.
Really?
Yes, indeed.
God.
We've got bags that are made just from ostrich leg. And this is my crummy little wallet of 14 years, but it's really crummy.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
14 years. Look, but so soft as well.
I know, but it's abused.
Yeah.
It's always in the back pocket.
Rhonda, here, just come look at this bag.
And this is the smooth section under the wing of an ostrich. They don't have any feathers there. So if they lift up their wing and show,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
you've got no
That's
feathers.
where the feathers.
Yes, because all the holes for the feathers, yeah?
Yeah.
The bumps,
And-
yeah? And that's from its leg.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yes,
You don't
Idris
have
just
to-
told me.
Oh, Idris knows
Idris
everything.
told me. He said I should have waited to get my bag here.
Yeah, you
That's
should.
beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm
Have a look. So that one is a mixture of ostrich and that's crocodile.
They are actually the second fastest in Africa.
Second fastest.
Fastest in Africa, yeah.
So those ostriches there, we're saying they're the teenagers, are they?
Those are the teenagers there.
Yes.
And then the other main breeders are up top there, and that side across there.
So how many do you have altogether on the farm?
Last count was at the beginning of December, and at that stage it was 283. But since then all the chicks are still hatching.
Right. So you've got more.
Yeah, so their breeding season is from September through to May.
Yeah.
That might change. One step there. That might change. It's not an exact science because some of them actually started laying eggs in July last year.
Yeah.
So that's, and then to tell them apart, the male ostrich, one step here. The male ostrich has the red beak, red shins, and black and white feathers.
And right.
So
And
the females, the hens, are white and brown
Yeah.
feathers.
and how old are they? Did you say before you can tell if they're male or female?
14 months.
14 months.
That's
Crikey.
right, yeah. So in that time they change the feathering maybe about 4 times.
Yes.
We call it kind of mottled hedgehog feathering.
Right.
It's very light feathering, which is also in the wild. Maybe some of them, about 80% of chicks don't survive because they get hypothermia.
85. That's a lot.
Yeah, so in captivity they can live to quite an old age, but in the wild maybe to about
Yeah.
20 or 30, because the predators, there's a saying, there's a cat amongst the pigeons.
Yes.
So with your ostrich, it's an oversized bird.
So what? No, look at the feet as well. You can see by the legs and the feet.
Yeah, they've got very, very strong legs. You can see that talon-like claw over there,
Yes.
and the kick behind the ostrich is very strong.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So what they do is, being the second fastest in Africa, if you get near a nesting area and there's an egg or you upset one, they can charge you down at 70 kilometers an hour.
Oh.
They get to 70 kilometers an hour in just 3 paces. So they'll knock you, and then it's a loose kick to the neck over here, but they go for this area here. They kick and they rip down. They basically try to disembowel you.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they are quite vicious then.
Yeah, so some research as well. Maybe you remember the American musician
Yes.
Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
He had a breeding pair. He had to put the female down, and he was in the camp where the male was one day. Luckily he had a stick with him, charged him down, broke a couple of his ribs and sliced him down.
Oh.
Luckily he had a belt that stopped at a certain point,
Yeah.
and so they can. I've had a couple that were on safari where they actually saw an ostrich kick a cheetah, and they said that cheetah just somersaulted.
rock. Yeah.
And we had photo evidence actually of ostrich that kicked a lion, being the king of the jungle.
Yeah.
Hit it so hard that the foot and claw embedded inside the lion, couldn't get it out. That's how
forceful it is.
And then the lion bit him on the neck, and then.
Ah.
But that's
Right.
wildlife can be very cruel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually the nesting area over here. He's having a reprieve from the wind at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
They get pretty tired out with the wind.
They don't like the wind. No.
And sometimes you see the bulrushes there. So when you've got the Atlantic down there,
Yeah.
in the winter the cold fronts come from off the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So the clouds and the rain come from this side.
Yeah.
Then he doesn't like getting his legs wet. So he'll shelter
behind there.
bulrushes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so because he's got a pink beak or orange beak, that's
right,
one of the telltale, like one of the signs is a male.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
You see they have the black and white feathers.
Yes.
So what happens is, stand up, big boy. Good boy. So what they do is, it happens in the avian world
Yeah.
that the male birds are always more decorative. It's like with your peacock.
Yes.
It's more decorative, and
Yeah.
that's for mating purposes.
Right. Yeah.
So he's
And are these two always together?
they are together. Yeah, they up in the breeding camps. It's actually the ratio is 1 male for 2 females.
Right.
He did have another female hen here, but unfortunately they had a bit of a domestic, and he gave her a kick, so he had to separate them.
Oh.
But you can actually, it might not be for life,
Yeah.
but you can put another
Yeah.
hen
Yeah.
in there.
Incredible birds. I didn't know all that about them, about that they were so fast and they were so powerful.
Yeah, as I say, 70 kilometers an hour.
It's incredible, that is.
The only predator that can outrun them is a cheetah.
God.
And you'll find he's actually quite territorial. If I walk this way now, you'll find he might follow me, because that's the nesting area.
All right, yes.
So if I walk, and I walk faster, you'll find he'll... And it's not him being friendly to me, it's actually, this is his...
This is his area.
This is his area. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Yeah, look at that. So how often do they mate, or how many in a lifetime, how many eggs will they have?
Well, today he's actually mated twice. So sometimes 3-4 times a day, depending on how much testosterone or...
Yeah.
And what they do is, the main breeders, it's 1 egg every 2 to 3 days.
Oh, is it?
It's not an exact science. Maybe some of the others maybe 7 or 8
Yeah,
days. You can
yeah.
never quite tell. From the egg being laid to it hatching is 42 days.
Right. Yeah.
That's the.
Right.
So what they do is they'll take the egg from here.
Yeah.
Then we take it up to the ostrich breeding station.
Yeah.
Goes into a waiting room for 7 days. And just bear in mind that it's like a maternity hospital for ostriches up there. So the area has to be kept in a very clinical way. Because actually when you touch the ostrich egg, you feel it's porous like our skin.
Yes.
Therefore it acts as a highway for bacteria to be drawn.
Right. Yeah.
So give them a good clean, and then they also mark on the egg. They look for an oxygen bubble.
Right.
So when you see that oxygen bubble, if it becomes a fertile egg, that's the point at which the chick's going to hatch. So that's why we put the cross there.
Right. Yeah.
And then they go into the incubation unit for 39 days. But after 2 weeks, we do a fertility test. It's called candling.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll take out each egg and we put it onto a light box. We shine a light in. If you see there's an arc or curve in it, then you know it's a fertile egg.
So you get the percentage, the ratio, you get some that aren't?
You get some on. So when you see it's clear base, then we automatically and very quickly remove it.
Right.
And we bring it to the restaurant and you make scrambled eggs and omelette with it. 18 to 24 chicken yolks can fit into one ostrich.
Yeah.
Hey. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Up. Good boy. He's a handsome fella. Yes, you are. Thank you. And in the morning he does a mating dance when he comes on.
Oh, does he?
It's sometimes the mating dance where they put the wings out.
Yeah.
It's like if you know when you watch the Formula 1 Grand Prix.
Yes.
And at the end you see the black and white flag.
Yeah.
So when you see it out of your peripheral, you can actually see that it's like a flash all the time.
And so, yeah.
So also with their black and white feathers, if there's an egg there, then in the daytime the hen, she looks after the egg and she'll roll it around with her beak so it balances the chick inside.
Wow.
And then at night time the male will have to stand up all night and he watches over the egg. Because with the black and white feathers they become camouflaged at night time.
Brilliant. Right, we must go.
All right.
Thank you ever so much, Jonathan.
Okay.
Very, very interesting.
Is
it always windy here?
Well, it's the summertime now, so
so
the southeaster comes from that side.
Yeah.
So it's the summer wind.
Right.
In winter you'll get from that side, from
that
the
side.
Atlantic.
Right. Thank you ever so much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, and come and join us.
It's Table Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
Now we're going to Cape of Good Hope.
So we're in Cape of Good Hope National Park now, and that is the road we've just come down, just there. So we are at the Cape of Good Hope, and we've got some wild ostrich now. We have a nice friendly baboon here.
Yeah, I'm not going any further.
Okay, come, let's move.
Come.
Come.
Yeah.
ronda.
And if we didn't have more time, I was supposed to drive more inside.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I did not drive inside all of the time because
So that's it for another Sunday update. Please come back with any questions as ever, and I'll answer them at the beginning of the next video. Thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll see some of you on Tuesday in London. Otherwise, we'll see you probably Wednesday night, maybe Thursday night, depends when I get the video edited. So we'll see you midweek.